Lorraine Winstanley, nice to see you again. A few months on from last time we had a chat at Lakeside. How you doing? Nice to see you.
I'm all right. Thanks for inviting me on, Josh.
Absolute pleasure. Busy time in the sport as a whole, but for women's darts in particular, first women's series weekend gone, second weekend coming up, the weekend approaching. Look, this is really exciting times for a lot of players, and it seems to be a busy period for women's darts in particular.
Yeah, the beginning of the year, we have a little break on certainly with the PDC because the last competitive tournament was October, and previous years it's not started again till March. So obviously starting in February is quite nice because it makes the gap a bit shorter. But the next one's come round in quick succession. I think there's only 3 weeks in between. So yeah, gearing up to next weekend.
Yeah, and last time out you had some good results, some success on the women's series. Nice for yourself to be playing some really good darts.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, I mean, the PDC Women's Series is really the only competitive darts I play. I've been lucky to play Modus in January, was invited onto the special Women's Week there. Um, so obviously prepared for that, but it is a long time to go without playing competitively. So yeah, glad to get it going again. And yeah, I was really pleased with the results that I got at the last Women's Series.
How much did you keep your arm going through that 3 months or so where you didn't have that competitive action?
You just have to practice on a regular basis, really, and that's all you can do when you don't play competitively. It's just a case of just staying on the board and just keep practicing. But I've never shied away from the fact that I've never been a big practicer because I've always played so much, so often. I've never really had to practice. So this last sort of couple of years has been a bit of an eye opener, really, because when you're not playing on such a regular basis, it means you have to practice. So yeah, I'm continuing with the practice regime and trying to keep my arm going.
Yeah, and I guess on that last sort of batch of women's series events, there were the names you'd expect at the back end of the tournaments, but probably a few unexpected ones as well. A woman from Portugal whose name disappears from my
Yeah,
memory made a
so I have to
semi-final. I mean,
pronounce it.
there's so
Yeah.
many names now that can make those quarterfinals and semi-finals. Seems more competitive than it's ever been.
Yeah, I think you're right there because I think when the women's series was first started, I know myself and Laura Turner, we were trying to drag women in off the streets, to get the numbers up, because when you when the PDC put on opportunities like this, if it's not supported, there's always a fear that it's going to be pulled. So we were desperately trying to get anyone and everyone to just come and have a go. Don't be shy of the PDC name. It's not like that. I think people had that expectation of a bit like playing Super League. The if the name Super was taken out of Super League, I think more women would join it. I think there's that expectation that everybody's going to be great. Um, and so I think at the beginning there was a bit of fear of that. But the numbers are creeping up slowly, and it is getting there. But there's been that change now from people just coming and signing up and having a go to make the numbers up to you've got a good standard of very competitive women, so yeah, there were new faces at first one this year that I'd not come across before, and they played really well,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's good to see that more women are getting involved, and it's what the sport needs. We're lacking in women.
Absolutely. Neza Araujo was the name I was trying to think of
Well
from
done, you.
Portugal. Um, yeah, we for you, how much of a priority are these women's series events? And I guess playing competitive darts in general, because you have everything that goes on with target and you have so many priorities, is it still right at the top of the list?
Yeah, it's the top of the list for me at the moment. I said I would commit to playing in all of them when the women's series was announced, and I continue to stick with that. So yes, that is the priority on my competitive darts. obviously lots of WDF tournaments around the calendar, and if I have time, I will shut my face again. It basically boils down to time and priorities, and obviously my job takes up a lot of the time, and that keeps me relevant within the sport without actually having to play, if you like. And I love my job, so I'm really happy with the work dart balance that I've got going on at the moment.
Perfect. The woman at the top of the women's series and the development tour and the challenge tour
Every order of merit, yeah.
is Beau Greaves. An incredible start to the year, really, on those tours and obviously at the UK Open over the weekend as well. Getting a few good wins on the board before pushing Luke Littler pretty hard in that first to 10 game.
That was Luke Humphries, not Luke.
Luke Humphries. Look, how impressed have you been with her start to the year?
She just continues to impress me all the time. Um, for a lot of people, Bo burst onto the scene just a few years ago, but she's been playing a long time from being about 12, so uh, you can say it about a lot of the youngsters and Luke Littler as well, for a lot of people, it was the first time that they saw him in the 2024 World Championship, would it have been?
Yep.
Working backwards. Um, but they've come along as no surprise to people that really know and have been playing for some time. Um, she just has the most amazing composure and resilience, and it takes real grit to get up and do what she does, and she never looks phased, and I just think she's an amazing advert for women's darts, and I think she's nobody can take away what the women have done previously. Fallon did an amazing job with what she did at the World Championships. Lisa, obviously, being the first woman to win the tour card. Dieter and Trina have been pioneering women's darts for years and years. Beau is the one in my eyes that is going to take it to the next level for the women. Um, and she's just so gracious in everything that she does. She's played all right.
Yeah.
She's great. She's the whole package. She really is. And what a talent.
Yeah. And now doing it as well on the Pro Tour, virtue of being top of that Challenge Tour order of merit. If she's going to have the opportunity throughout the rest of the year to play on the Pro Tour, how much of an experience do you think that's going to be for her? And do you think it will light a fire for her to get on the Pro Tour and make a real fist of being at the top end of the PDC?
I think, to be fair, it's where she needs to be.
Mm.
Because even on an off day, the best of us struggle to push her, and she seems to find that extra gear. I'm not saying she's unbeatable. Clearly she's not, but I think she needs to be playing in that top level environment to she's not in top gear yet. So she needs that pushing from those pros, I think. And I think she's had the cushion of playing in the WDF for so long. She's won 3 world championships. What else is there for her on that level? I personally feel that she needs to be looking to take it to the next level, and she is more than capable of holding her own and doing some serious damage, I think.
Do you think it may be the decision come November, December time to make the move to Ali Pali and leave Lakeside behind?
Yeah, I think she's she's in the perfect position at the moment because she has choices and she can play in anything and everything that she has the opportunity to. So she's in that position where she can say yes, she can say no to whatever she wants to do. I do think that that serious decision will come at the end of the year. Um, I mean, you look at where she stands now because she isn't a tour card holder. She can play the WDF. She's obviously young enough to play the development tour. She's on the challenge tour because she's top of that order of merit. She's getting invites onto the pro tour. She can also play modus. She can do whatever she wants to do, and she's still capable of earning an absolute fortune if she wants to across all the different codes and different situations. It's a big decision, because if she goes on to get her tour card, which being top of both order of merits, albeit it's very early in the year, but she's got a little bit of a cushion going on already. Um, it's a big decision to make because that takes away all her other options. If she takes that tour card, that's the only thing that she can do. So
Mm.
it's a life-changing decision for her, and there's only her that can make that decision, and she's got to make the right one to suit her. So it'd be interesting to see, but I clearly think that that's where she needs to be because she's more than capable.
Yeah, and still just 21 years of age as well. So from Beau
Unbelievable.
Greaves to Paige Pauling, who won the WDF girls title back in December. She was obviously at the women's series last time out. She's following a pathway, really, I guess, that's been forged a little bit by Beau Greaves. We know
Yeah.
you work with her with Target. How impressed have you been by her?
She's great. She's an absolutely great player. And again, a player with such composure, and she doesn't give a lot away to her opponents. You never quite know how she's feeling. She's got a really good poker face going on when she plays, which I think is a real benefit sometimes. You don't want to tell your opponent exactly how you're feeling all the time. Um, but yeah, and again, like Bo, she's nowhere near a top level. I think we've still got lots to see to come from her. And again, she has options because of her age. She's got that cushion of, I say cushion. Her priorities at the moment, as they stand, are predominantly the youth tournaments, and the senior tournaments are a bit of an added extra because she's there anyway. But I think by playing in both, it just makes that transition into playing only at senior level when you can no longer play at the youth level. You've not got that cushion, if you like, and you go from being a big fish in a little pond to being the little fish in a big pond. Um, so I think she's doing everything right by playing in both because she's gaining so much valuable experience that by the time she gets to the age where she can't play the youth tournaments, it's not going to be a problem because she's that used to playing in the senior tournaments.
Yeah. Paige is obviously just one of the young players you work with at Target from, I guess, the top of the PDC in players like Luke Littler to the players just coming through in the JDC. How much joy do you get from seeing these players progress and win tournaments and I guess most importantly enjoy their darts?
I love it. I get so much satisfaction seeing all these youngsters doing well, and being able to shout about it as well. I'm rooting for them all, and I hate it when they draw each other in whatever they're playing. I'm like, oh no, it's really hard, and you don't have favourites, so when they play each other, I just sit back and just wait for a good game, if you know what I mean, because you can't cheer for one and not the other. Um, but I just get such joy out of seeing the youngsters coming through and doing so well. And I know how it feels to be top of your game, albeit it was a while ago for me, but you know, I know how that feels, so I can relate to how they feel when they're playing well and they're doing well. So I'm just really pleased for them and their parents as well. Sometimes if I'm there at a venue, I'll I sort of like be glancing at the parents, and again I know how that feels having Josie come through the youth system. Um, it's awful to watch as a parent. It's horrendous. So I keep my eye on them and seeing what they're doing because they get really wound up and excited and head in hands, and it's an emotional roller coaster for everybody. But what a roller coaster to be on.
Brilliant. Well, really appreciate the time today, Lorraine, and best of luck with the events coming up this weekend, and obviously to all the young players that you work with as well.
Thank you. Thanks for your time, Josh.